In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some upcoming major storms that are on the way around the nation. Obviously, activity has been a little bit lower in the eastern states over the past week or so. Hotter temperatures have been in place, much drier conditions, and we really haven't seen much in the way of too many storms depending on where you're at. But activity has overall been down from where it was in the east. Now, in this video, we're going to be discussing how we see an uptick in the future, really a big time switch around in the pattern, where we're expecting above average activities once again for these areas, and it's going to be really an intense switch in contrast, obviously. So let's just discuss these things. I want to take a look at tomorrow afternoon from the time I am making this video, and as you can see, this will be on Sunday, June 23rd. Very hot in the east. I can't stress this enough. It's going to be dangerous today on Saturday, tomorrow on Sunday, and even Monday. I think it's going to be in the upper 90s for a lot of folks, and over 100 in the heat index. So please drink a lot of water and just get some shade, guys. You got to cool off a little bit sometimes. But as we can see, there is lots of activity in the east overall. And, you know, a lot of folks, including myself, might not see too much of a chance on their weather apps or, you know, on the news. You might not see a lot of chances, but we have to remember one thing. The dew points are over 70 for a lot of folks here, and the temperatures are well over 80, obviously over 90 for a lot of folks. And what this does is it basically creates an inherent chance of thunderstorms, regardless of what anybody's saying. You know, when the dew points are over 70, temperatures are over 80, thunderstorms are a chance. And not everybody's going to get hit by them. I think a good example here is western North Carolina and a lot of Virginia here, where you just see these spotty, isolated thunderstorms taking place. And, you know, the county next to you might get hit, maybe even half a county. They might be pretty tiny, actually. And in situations like this, a lot of these thunderstorms are very small. But you guys might get nothing, you know, the county over might get something or vice versa. And that's a lot of what we're going to be seeing. So it's just an inherent chance that you really have to pay mind to, especially if you're planning on having any outdoor activities this weekend. That's certainly something to keep in mind. There is some areas where there's just more chance overall, like the Northeast and Ohio Valley here, where there's really just going to be scattered about thunderstorms pretty widespread throughout that area. And then some of the southeast coast, and then especially Florida here, a better chance exists, and then southern Texas also. Now, as we keep going towards Monday, again, another very hot and humid day, we see the same thing up and down this eastern seaboard. Obviously, it's pretty typical, you know, when we point out our kind of Appalachian mountain range here. East of these areas is typically a lot more humid than on the west side of them. We see a lot of this more ocean air, you know, more humidity, being able to travel up these areas. Typically, these areas have a more inland kind of Canadian influence, so you can expect a higher chance of these humid-based thunderstorms to the east of the Appalachian Mountains as opposed to the west, of course. Very quiet through a lot of the nation. I mean, we see some isolated activity for the coastal regions of Washington, some of the Four Corner states, maybe some monsoon activity, but really a little quieter. Tuesday on the 25th here, we're starting to see some dip in the pattern, I would say, from Canada here, where a lot of our drier air is starting to influence with the more humid air, which does cause a lot of instability. So we're seeing this humid push, and then we're seeing this dry Canadian push, and this is really causing some instability in here that needs to definitely be watched. But still, the Gulf and East Coast dealing with some isolated thunderstorm activity here. Wednesday here on June 26th, we're seeing more and more of that kind of Canadian push. And look at how much it's firing up these thunderstorms here. We see the Gulf states, Ohio Valley, interior Northeast here. All of these areas are dealing with these thunderstorms pretty widespread throughout these areas. Also the Four Corner states. And then for some of coastal, again, Pacific Northwest, we are seeing some isolated showers likely up there in the Northwest, and maybe some showers or thunderstorms here in the Four Corner states as well by Wednesday the 26th. Thursday here on the 27th, we see that this cold and kind of drier push is now fully engulfed the east. So we're seeing the southeast dealing with these thunderstorms as a result of it. A little bit more widespread mid to late week this week, so keep that in mind here. We also see that there is more and more thunderstorms taking place for the Four Corner states, even up the Rocky Mountain Range and Northern Plains now, and still some showers for the Pacific Northwest by this point as well. Friday here on the 28th, we see a continuation of this southeast area seeing these activities. We see 997 millibar low pressure center over South Dakota, which is rather strong for this time of year. We're seeing the upper Midwest and some of the plains see some thunderstorms and potentially severe weather as a result of this. Also, keep in mind we have a stronger low to the north, 992 up here in Canada, so likely some severe weather chances everywhere underneath that parent low pressure system. Let's take it towards Saturday here on the 29th, next weekend, and we see a long cold front stretching underneath this 986 now low pressure system over the Hudson Bay. We are seeing this is going to be a pretty impactful one apparently, because we're seeing a lot of thunderstorm activity. This is a high activity cold front, and this one could again make its way across the entire southeastern states, where we already have some isolated and scattered about thunderstorm activity. We could see more after this point. Here's Sunday on the 30th, and again, elongated cold front look, really seeing a lot of this activity built in for the plains, Midwest, Ohio Valley, and some of the Northeast here. So really, really interesting stuff. Here's by the time we reach Monday on July 1st, and we see this cold front is now reaching a lot of kind of the southeast and southern mid-Atlantic areas. And that's pretty much the end of the model run. We do have the plains building back in with some more thunderstorm activity, so keep that in mind as well. Some more severe weather chances, especially in the northern plains here, could be on the way. Here's the total precipitation, and I mean, versus what we were seeing about a week ago, this is a massive uptick here in the east, and we're seeing above average amounts for a lot of your upper Midwest, Great Lakes, Northeast area here, and then also for the Southeast corridor. Basically anywhere you're seeing the reds is about normal or above normal as far as the precipitation. I would say these areas are near normal, and then the areas obviously to the north and the south are seeing above normal conditions. Let's take a look here at the temperature pattern. Again, very hot this weekend. We do expect a cool down eventually, and that's going to come later on this week, like we talked about, where the dry air is able to intrude also the lower temperatures. Here's Thursday on June 27th, and we see closer to normal, if not below normal, here in the east. Here's later on, we see a little bit of an uptick in the warmth again for the weekend. So here's Saturday. But look at that, more cold air on the way already by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday here. But long range, we're seeing the 6th, 7th, 8th time frame, another heat wave potentially on the way in the long range for a lot of the plains and Midwest, a lot of the east here as well. Definitely something to watch. Very, very concerning stuff, obviously, as we've already seen a very, very hot weekend this weekend. We're expecting that to continue through the early week, and then in the longer range we see signs of more of this extreme heat on the way. Definitely interesting to say the least. Here's the Storm Prediction Center outlook, and we have a lot to discuss here, so let's just go over it. We do have for today on Saturday, June 22nd, some general thunderstorm risk areas in the lighter greens. So if you are in the lighter greens, it's where we expect general thunderstorms, but anything is possible, so be sure to heed every watch, warning, and advisory still. Now here we are also seeing a lot of marginal risk areas in the darker greens, and that's where we have a level 1 marginal risk, and we expect isolated severe weather to occur in there. Now, as we can see, there's also a yellow area there in the upper Midwest and Great Lakes, and that is your slight risk of severe weather, where we expect scattered about severe weather to potentially occur. For day 2, we also have the lighter green areas again, the darker green areas again for the marginal risk, and then another slight risk up there in the northeast, again for tomorrow on Sunday, June 23rd. And then here's day 3, which will be Monday on June 24th, and we once again have a general thunderstorm risk area in the lighter green, a marginal risk in the darker green, and then a slight risk area up there in the upper Midwest for that yellow area. Let's see if we have anything in the extended range. I don't think we do. Might have slipped through the cracks. No, we don't have anything. So that is all for this video, guys. Be sure to subscribe, as we do upload every single day. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload, so you never miss one. Be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.